Well, hi everybody. I'm George Lewis, and going to play a piece, an old piece from '87, which I'm still find myself doing in one form or another in 2020. It's called Voyager. I've been doing this kind of work for about, 40 years now. And this pianist that I'm going to be playing with, it turns out that it made its Carnegie Hall debut in Stern Hall in 2004 with the American Composers Orchestra. And since then, it's been upgraded, updated, all that. I'm going to tell you what the form of the piece is. Basically, it's very simple. I'm going to turn, this is a early model disc clavier, and this is a early model trombone. And I'm going to turn the disc clavier on, and this is a program that creates the music in real time. It makes all kinds of interesting structures, hopefully interesting. Don't know quite what it's going to do, but it'll probably be good. It seems to be playing very good today. And then at a certain point, I will also come in and play, and then it will start listening to me, and we'll have a duo improvisation, the sort of thing I've been doing for quite a long time now. So nothing is made in advance except the program itself, but what it plays material-wise, structures-wise, that's its problem and its concern. So I guess I'll just start. Let me just start. I'll have to just turn this on and have fun. I'll play for a while. That was a loud noise. Thank you.
To
And we're
welcome.
really excited to have George Lewis with us here. We saw George Lewis perform his piece Voyager 87 earlier. And it really, you're on a space shuttle right now.
Yeah, yeah. After the gig, I decided to get out of town for a while. No, this is sort of no, this is sort of a symbol of what we're all experiencing. I often feel I never leave the house, and I haven't left the house since March 12th, and I feel like I'm, spaceship house. That's it. We do our exercises just like the real astronauts do, and we get food as best we can and disinfect everything and all that. I mean,
Right.
and do our classes, online and, all that.
It's true. Actually, it's a good emblem for how we are all living right now. So
Yeah, in a way, maybe creates a certain empathy for that experience of,
Well, there was an article in the paper by an astronaut who compared his experience on on the space station to what people are self-isolating doing that now with that.
You have a long, I mean, you've kept your trombone, like we were talking just earlier and you said, oh, great picture of David Lang with his trombone. But, David hasn't played trombone in a long time. You're
Well, if I count up, I mean, this is probably the first time I played the trombone all year. I do it between 2 and 3 times a year, so it's sort of a legacy project. But you know, I can still do it. The first day is good. The second day is always horrible. Luckily, there is no second day right now.
That's right.
You wouldn't want to hear that.
So I really enjoyed that piece, and what I really like also is that it's like the trombone is an instrument that's from the past, and we're used to working with these instruments from the past. The disc clavier is an instrument from the past too. So this whole idea of technologies from different periods colliding was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting to switch from the older version, which was all electronics versus acoustic, that is to say, virtual orchestra, 64 channels of electronic sound, to the all acoustic version, which is really not electronic music, but it's just acoustic music, acoustic improvisations with one or more people. I mean, the trombone, I have one around and I know how to use it more or less, and so that was an obvious choice. But, Mia could have done it, or any number of people. There have been a lot of people that have played with Voyager over the decades, so it's not tied to what I do. And increasingly, since I sort of stay off and stage and watch and see what happens, and I learn a lot more from that. Because a lot of what happened in building this thing and working with it, it's had a huge impact on my sort of academic scholarship on improvisation. It sort of caused me to think differently about what improvisation could be, and that improvisation really, music is just one domain of in an overall sort of notion, a worldwide, multifaceted notion of improvisation. That really, the arts is just one domain. It's not. I mean, they teach you a lot, but it's not the only thing out there. So I started to realize that I had a pretty low bar for what improvisation was, and I boiled it down to kind of four things. You know, you know, indeterminacy, which is how we start, okay, and then agency in the face of indeterminacy, and then analysis of conditions, attending to different things, and then making a choice. And if I see all those four things, and I consider that activity to be improvised, no matter who or what does it. And if one of them is missing, or somehow there's also a sense that there there might be more of one than the other. It's not like there's no indeterminacy. In fact, there's always indeterminacy. Well, that's not true either. Anyway, it's more complicated than that. But those are the four things I like people to think about when we're thinking about a piece like this. And this piece kind of is a demonstration of that in some ways.
What I like about the
George,
way you describe that is that none of those four things are just music, right? So that's
No.
basically the thought process or the action process of making any decision about anything.
Yeah, and you notice there's certain things that are not there, like time. Real time, that's or in the moment, that's not a part of it. You can have improvisations over very long time frames. I learned a lot from the anthropologist Paul Richards in thinking about women rice farmers in Sierra Leone. He made a very convincing case for why those long-term, long-form, real world but not real time events, or real time in a different sense. And who's real time? The computers or ours, or the cosmos is real time. So all those things. So time, I didn't see time as being a part of it, and all that stuff about being in the moment that got thrown out, and uh, and so that meant that once real time and in the moment were thrown out, that meant the musicians couldn't colonize the concept anymore.
George, I'm
I like
wondering
that.
during this time period, if you're working on a special project or what this, kind of moment has been like for you creatively. Um, that's
God, I talk to so many people, and they tell me it's very difficult to focus. You're isolating, and somehow the level of activity, personal activity. I believe that new ideas come from interaction. So, but what we're seeing more and more is it's harder to interact, and face-to-face interaction is very important. I've been doing, for example, improvisation sessions with Professor Raymond McDonald, the University of Edinburgh, who every Tuesday and Saturday brings together an international group of people to Zoom their improvisations as well. And you're learning how to do things, but once again, it's the interactivity that matters.
Mhm.
So I have all kinds of projects, but I'm trying to get started on one of them. And the problem is that a lot of them have been canceled or postponed. And each time, and everyone here knows about that. And each time that happens, you have to avoid being discouraged. And that's why what you guys are doing is so important. It encouraged everybody. You
There
know?
are so many great connections here on the festival today, and one of them is, the connection we all have with Steve Schick. Now, I heard that great, I don't know, chamber concerto, what should we call it, that you wrote?
Autobiographical.
Right.
Oh
Autobiographical.
yeah, Steve. You know, he wrote this wonderful essay about him taking a walk. He walked for 6 weeks from
Up to West Coast.
Tijuana to the Bay Area, and he slept rough, and he found food where he could. And so I read this essay. It was just so evocative. He did this meditation on sound, and he came out of it. It was like a quest, and the basic quest was to prove that his intended was worthy of his love, which is what all the great quests are about. So I thought this is going to be a great piece. I'd love to write a piece on this. And I finally got to do it with the help of Ice and making him the center of his own piece. I mean, anyone could really do it, but no one will really do it like Steve. You know, as I mean, he's singing, he was acting, he was intoning, he was playing the drums. It's unbelievable what he was doing up there. So I tried to make a piece that would engage all of that.
Fantastic
Really
piece,
beautiful.
and
I'm
Steve
glad you guys heard it.
coming up
Yeah.
later today, playing a solo, and of
Wow.
course, coming up right next is Mia Masaoka, who uh, you know very well.
Yes, I do.
The next
She's
room over.
she's another inhabitant of Spaceship Central Park West. We do our exercises together, and I'm happy to cede the mic to her. And you know, she's in the next room, but I can't hear it, so I'll hear it
So,
on the internet.
so Jody, we're about to go to Mia Masaoka.
Thank you, George.
Thanks so
Thanks,
much,
Julie.
George.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, David.
Yeah, great to talk to you.